Why does a man become a manservant to their partner? In today's video, let's examine 3 ways this may happen. So it's an interesting dynamic. Men who are generally viewed to be the macho, more aggressive, more dominant one becomes more of the submissive, passive manservant, so to speak, in a relationship. Whether it's with his wife, girlfriend, or a same-sex partner, either way, there's reasons that this unfolds this way. So reason number 1 connects to a video I've done in the past about weak submissive men and how this plays out in a relationship. Well, this angle is related to the notion that due to childhood trauma within their life, the man's life growing up, they've restricted their voice, so to speak. They've lost their masculinity. By that, that means that they want somebody to lead them. They're more comfortable being in a passive position. So a man like this will typically seek out a woman who is more aggressive, more dominant, someone who runs the show. And they like that because it takes them off the hook from having to look inward about their passivity. On some level, they like to hide. They like to be in the background. They may put on a good front as to why that is, but generally speaking, it's because they have lower self-worth. There's insecurity there about who they really are, and so they just want to blend in. Now, on the flip side, we can also say that women seek out men like this who have a strong need to be in control. They could be a bit narcissistic, but either which way, they're not going to bow to anybody. Well, a woman like that is going to seek out a more submissive man. Where it's not so much a problem, the dynamic between 2 adults doing this, but if you have kids, that's where this can really get into some problem areas for the children. They may be confused or have mixed messages about what it means to be a man, masculinity, and what it means to be a woman, femininity. I'll leave a link to the video I've done about this in the description box below. Now, reason number 2 is a fine line with this, is some men are just more laid back. They're not hiding from who they really are. And to put it very simply, they just want to come home, have a meal, and get on with their evening. They don't want to be bothered. Fathers like this may also not be the best father. Fathers like this may not be passive at all or submissive at all, but they can become the wife's manservant, so to speak, because they just want the family to get on with their life and basically leave me alone. That may be an energy they're giving out. Want to come home, have dinner, watch some television, or be on their laptop and then go to bed. So that's different from example number 1. Sometimes wives with men like this in these situations will complain that my partner just doesn't seem to have much energy. And that could also be a factor too, which is still different from example number 1. Because in example number 1, the man may have a ton of energy, but just restricts it because he's not comfortable showing that type of energy. That would mean he'd have to be in charge. But with example number 2 right now, the man can be in charge. He's just choosing not to because he doesn't want to be bothered. Sometimes, if this is the case, it could be because of clinical depression. Man may not have many hobbies, really care about too many things. But to keep the peace in the home, sometimes he will become the manservant and just sort of do what the wife wants because he may know on some level he's bowing out, not really actively participating in the relationship. And so therefore, out of guilt, we can say he gives in sometimes. And in example number 3, some men desire this role or this part based on sexual role play, sexual desire, being dominated, etc. It turns them on to be the manservant, basically. Now, this is a little more tricky to sort of unthread or diagnose because there's so many factors that can relate to this. It could be because the man was abused growing up, which can apply particularly to reason number 1 as well. In the abuse, the childhood trauma that they likely went through to want to play this role in their adult life, it's related somehow to humiliation. Likely the abuse they got growing up was indeed sexual abuse, which then, being a manservant, connects more so perhaps to a sex addiction they have. Some sort of addiction is very, very common when we examine this reason number 3. With this, a lot of men who are drawn to this role, there's a sense in them of wanting to be rebellious in life. And therefore, in being rebellious, if they're anti-control, let's say in society at large, then one way to give up control is to a dominatrix, right? You give this power to your partner. I'm anti-control. The main thing with this is whoever's involved in this type of relationship, just try to understand it as much as you can. Where is it stemming from? Where are these motivations begin? The more we know, the more we're going to feel empowered And the more perhaps we can enjoy, in this particular example, the role play without having to use substance or any other feature that may be associated that is basically emotionally unhealthy. So 3 quick examples about what leads men to be in these roles. What I'm referring to as a manservant, various forms of turning your power over to your partner, different reasons for it. Hope it's been helpful. We'd love to hear any thoughts you may have in the comments section below. Please subscribe to my mental health YouTube channel if you like these kind of videos. And until next week, this is Brad Shore signing off from Ask a Shrink.